And I felt like that if I had an opportunity, to go out and give back, to a certain cause, to help young people, have a chance to see a different vision and see a sense of hope, if hope wasn't there before. And if I could find a way to get into that position, it was the right way for me to go. Well, growing up in Flint, Michigan, I was lucky enough to have a mother and a father in the household, but also in the community, we always had people who was willing to help us out as well. So when you have that type of support, it gives you a chance to be successful. And people knowing that people are there to give you an opportunity to do the right things. So I always felt like, how could I pay those people back? Minneapolis is home for me. I was trying to figure out, once I left the NBA, which direction would I go in? Would I stay on the East Coast and live in New York? I love New York City. It's a wonderful place to live. I had a great time in Chicago, but I just felt like that Minneapolis was the right place for me. And I felt like that if I could find a way to start an organization, to give back to a community, I just felt like that this community here in Minneapolis was the right one for me. I think when you work in smaller groups, you have a chance to get to know the kids better, and you can sit down and listen to exactly what they need to get from you, as a mentor, so you can help them grow and move in the right direction. Sometimes when we begin to talk, we have our own ideas, and sure, we think that this could be right, for a young person, but until you hear their story, until you hear what they're thinking, that's how you begin to carve out a plan that you think that can work for them in the future. So I think it's very important for mentors to listen as well, because once you begin to listen, then you get to know that individual on a better basis. I can see the young kids begin to look up, to the kids who have gone on to become successful, because now they have a role model. They have someone that they can identify with. And I think that's the most important in anything, in any kid's life, is to have someone that they can identify with. And when you can identify with someone, now that helps you carve out the good plan for yourself. Well, they have to, do the right things. For one, they have to meet certain standards with behavior and attitude and academics. And if they don't reach those goals, they can't be a part of the program. But the beauty of the kids who graduate and who move on, and they go through high school and they get to college, we ask those kids to come back to become the messengers, because my message can become old. But when you have new kids coming in every year, if they can relate to someone who's close to them in age and have seen those kids go on to be successful, that message begin to, to get in and get deeper and deeper into what they're hearing. And to see how many more kids, that we can affect in a positive way. I like the community to continue to support, because without, the support of the community, this would not be possible. No one organization, no one person can do it by himself. You need a team, you need a village of people, who believe in the common cause of helping young people move in the right direction. I would love to have the opportunity to have a school at some point in time, because I think it's very, very important, to get the right teaching at a very young age, not only just academically, but socially as well. When you can engage kids from all different walks of life, give them a chance to get to know one another, so they won't pass judgment. They won't believe what they heard about a person or what someone has said, or based on what they read in the newspaper. Now they get a chance to interact with their person. They get to know their person for themselves. Because I think once we cross that bridge at a very young age and open up those communication lines, and when they move on to the rest of their lives and they begin to get into a workforce, and now they encounter people who speak differently, who look differently, and come from a different place, that fear factor won't be there. Now they know they belong because they've been there before. just seeing the kids grow, just seeing their families begin to prosper, see how the parents have become more involved in what the kids are doing. And not only mentioning one kid has gone to Carleton College, now we've seen, kids who started with the program, now they've graduated from high school, they have gone on to college as well. To see them interested in a post-secondary education is a wonderful thing for all of us to see, because we knew when we came into this program where these kids started at, where school was, was a second thought process and wasn't even on the radar. But now for them to focus on education, understanding how education can be so important to their lives for the future, I'm just so happy that they stuck with us and we stuck with them, and now we can see a great direction that these kids are going in. Well, when you grow up in a certain environment and every day you hear, well, you can't do this and you can't do that and you would never make it. So a young mind begins to believe that. So if you see despair, if you see negativity, that's what you see yourself doing for the rest of your life. But all of a sudden, if someone comes along and gives you just a sense of hope and puts you in a situation where you can see things differently for the first time, but also keep that promise, because so many kids, have fallen to broken promises. And when you begin, to help them out and you show them that you care, the one thing that you have to carry out is that promise. And if you're able to carry out that promise and earn their trust, then you can help these kids move in the right direction very quickly.